Dev build. What's going on? I'm Zedmont. We are here on the dev build. That's how we've got 1,000,000 diamonds and all of our resources full, and how we managed to have 6 of the same statue out at the same time. This is the Scorched Mega Crab. If you're not familiar with it, we're going to go through all of the details you need to know. We've got all sorts of boosted statues. That is 10 boosted red and purple statues. That's what you're going to want for this Mega Crab. Anyways, first up, wanted to give a big, huge shout out to the latest member of my YouTube channel, Chester Palateo. If you're interested in becoming a member, check the description down below. There's also, if you'd like to become a Patreon, there's also details at the very end of the video and in the description down below. Anyways, if you just want to cut through all the chase and get to all the details, here is what you need to know. On levels 0 to 9, you're going to get 50% Life Leech for Scorchers and Scorchers only. Level 10 to 19, 75%, yada, 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 all the way down to 200% Life Leech. Now, Life Leech with Scorchers is a little bit different than other troops. When they're actively burning something, you get Life Leech. When they've gone away and the building's on fire, you're not going to get Life Leech from that. So if you go into your armory and you have a look at an actual Scorcher way down in here, you'll see that the DPS, the damage per second, is 2472, and then you get extra burning, so it's a little bit confusing. Just go with that first number. All you need to worry about is 1071. That is where the Life Leech is calculated based off. I tried to do the math on previous Mega Crabs. It didn't make sense. The Supercell developers came back and explained it, and then lo and behold, the math makes sense, which is exactly what you want to happen. Anyways, we're going to get into stage 20, see what these Scorchers can do. Just be aware, when Scorchers are moving, they're not doing any damage at all, so they're not actually going to Life Leech, so you want to make sure that you don't get hit by any sort of shock launchers. With that being said, as you can see here, we do have cryo bombs. We also have the most useless of the temporary gunboat ability. That is the explosive drones. Now, with the explosive drones, you can get them to work. There's a couple different tricks. Number one, throw them into smoke. If you throw them into smoke, they're going to sit there, they're going to freeze for a second, then they're going to go, oh, wait, oh, we can move. And then they slowly, finally unthaw themselves, and then they blow up. Because if you throw them, like, see, there we go, we actually get some damage. If you throw them in the middle of some buildings over here like this, what's going to happen is, before they even unthaw, oh, they actually did. But if we throw them in, say, into these mines, for example, they're not going to do any sort of damage because things are going to blow them up before they get a chance to blow up. So either throw them into smoke, or another option is throw them in behind your troops. That way everything's going to focus on your troops. They'll unthaw themselves, then they'll run forward and blow something up. Low levels, be aware, explosive drones, I should say, are basically free critters that can clear mines as long as you let them thaw. So even if you have to throw them right in the middle of a smoke in order for them to clear mines, drop them in there. You'll notice they don't clear mines right away. As soon as they unthaw or start moving, they will clear those mines. So a little bit of a trick. They are useless and not super exciting, but there are a couple tricks that get them going. Now, number one tip on top of that, as you can see here, I have not uncleared any of the map because this is the dev build. Make sure you boost that cheap shock tribe because it will make your Mega Crab so much better. So as you saw, we managed to take down stage 20 very easily. Let's see how stage 30 looks with some Scorcher dudes. And again, we're just going to head over to the left-hand side. Scorchers should not have a heck of a lot of problem with these guys over here, but we're just going to go like this, just like last time, using those explosive drones. Now, could I have used an artillery? Yes, but explosive drones for something like this is going to be useful, and it's going to save our artillery for later on when we actually have a use for it. So now that those have popped, we can drop all of our troops here on the left-hand side, drop a smoke, and then get them moving over into here. just making sure we don't get hit by the shock launcher. That's my only goal at this point. Don't get hit by shock launcher. Now, as you can see here, I don't have a lot of gunboat energy simply because this account only has 3. And if you're wondering why I'm using taunt, taunt is not the right ability to use basically ever. Realistically, should be using energy drink. Maybe, possibly, you could also use not taunt, but not Shock Knuckles, but realistically, Shock Knuckles is not the right ability 99.9% of the time. Look at this. Scorchers just healing themselves up like nothing. Those boom cannons are doing nothing to them. So as long as you can keep them moving, don't let them get shocked. They'll be able to clear basically everything ever. Probably want to put some damage in behind them. I would suggest possibly throwing some tanks in behind them. Also, you could throw some bombardiers in behind them. Lots and lots of options, but you just need to keep them from getting... Look at this. They all have perfect health. They haven't even been scratched yet, and this is stage 30. This is not like stage 3 or something along those lines, so we are getting some use from our Scorchers here. Not overly fantastic, but at the same time, they're just cruising through here. Look at the, oh, we had one exploded. See that? I'm going to blame that shock launcher. If we go back and watch that replay, I'm willing to bet that it was all about that shock launcher. Also, you'll notice this Scorcher right here does not have a lot of health because it's got to go a long, long way to get to the flare. It's not doing damage as it's traveling. Only heavies, I think, do damage when they're moving, so you want to keep your flares to a minimum or throw some smokes on top of your Scorchers because when they're moving, they're not doing damage. Now, just like Cryoneers, these things have no attention span. If we flare the power core or the HQ or whatever it is, they're going to stay on that until the flare expires. As soon as that flare expires, they're going to be like, oh, something shiny, and they're going to go and attack something else if it's close enough to the HQ. This sniper tower should be far enough away that we shouldn't have a problem, but we're going to have to wait and find out. Stage 30, easy solo using Scorchers. Now, I'm not sold that Scorchers are going to be a long-term viable troop in this Mega Crab, but it's definitely worth giving them a shot, seeing how long you can last with them, as long as you have decent level Scorchers. If you don't, just the standard tank and bombardier or whatever troops you're used to using for the Mega Crab should be good. Just a reminder, riflemen do have that speed boost tribe, so maybe you want to do some rifle, Zuka, cryo, magic. Lost 2 Scorchers. Basically on purpose, though, you know, like that was totally on purpose so that you could show how you lose Scorchers. As far as live stream goes, I don't know if I'm going to have the time for it. I'm going to do my best, but I can't make any promises simply because I am planning to go away with my wife this weekend, going to a gorgeous, gorgeous island called Hornby off the coast of BC. Extremely, 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 extremely excited. Fantastic mountain biking and beaches. Google it if you've never heard of it. I used to live very, very close by, and I have never been there, so I am incredibly, incredibly excited, staying on a little tiny Airbnb. That is nothing to do with the Mega Crab, just giving you my excuses as to why the heck I am not going to be doing a live stream. Most likely, I am going to give it a shot. It depends when we leave and when the Mega Crab starts and all that sort of stuff. I am at a terrible disadvantage being on the west coast of Canada as far as the Mega Crab time zones and start times and all that stuff, but I will be giving it a shot, so stay tuned. Make sure you click that bell, subscribe, all that fun stuff to enable notifications. That way, if I do happen to go live, you will be right there along with me, just like Chester, the latest subscriber of the month. I don't tend to push the YouTube subscriber thing, the YouTube member thing. So Chester, thank you for reading descriptions. For those of you who are new to the channel, I spend way too much time writing descriptions for the channel, so do go check it out. There's usually a ton of information in there. Sometimes I put some contests in there for some giveaways, just trying to reward people who do read my descriptions, because I spend more time on descriptions and thumbnails than I have any right to do. Anyways, we're going to get all of these shields down. We've still got a little bit of time. I'm not sure at what level Scorchers are going to stop working. As you can see here, our Scorchers on level 40 are just pounding away. This one right here, we might want to throw some smoke onto that one. Let it get healed up. Is it going to get healed up? Probably not. But if we can get someone out in front of it, perhaps it can get a little bit of burning done, which is going to give it a little bit of healing. Bullit, as you can see here, doing taunt. He always stays behind Scorchers, and as a result, not super duper amazing. So we're going to try our best to get our Scorchers into here. And then we're going to throw a shock. Now, obviously, in this instance, we don't have cheap shocks. If I had cheap shocks, we would be doing far, far better than we are right now. But when you start to get down to crunch time, don't hesitate to flare that power core with your Scorchers, because they're just going to get burning. And as long as they don't get shocked like all of ours just did, they should be able to do all sorts of damage. We're going to fail, though. So stage 40, our first failure, probably could have gotten through this, but not super exciting using all Scorchers. I would definitely recommend throwing some damage in behind them. We're going to pause, come back, and we'll throw some damage in behind them and see if we can't try a different strategy to solo stage 50. So when I say throw some damage in behind, of course, all of the damage these days is all about Bombardiers. Bombardiers are so strong. They have so much DPS. They have so much range. And putting them behind Scorchers seems to me like a decent idea. We're going to swap out Mr. Bullit. We're going to bring Kavan simply because his second wind can, I believe, bring back a Scorcher. Don't quote me on that. Let's just double check, actually, because I should know the answer to this, but I don't. So troop unit size 21. Let's see what this has to say. Info revived 24. So we should be able to bring a Scorcher back. That should be fantastic. Bombardiers in behind. Just a reminder, Bombardiers are silly and they die as soon as they touch any sort of mines, or so make sure you have your Bombardiers cleaning up your Scorchers cleaning up the mines. You use a little bit of extra barrage and things. All of these mines make me nervous. This shock launcher, use your GBE, BART out that shock launcher. You are not going to regret getting rid of shock launchers basically ever, because they are going to be your biggest problem in any sort of keeping your Scorchers alive. So right now, we've got Bullit in behind. We've got all of our Scorchers out front. Bombardiers, probably I would suggest going more like 5 boats of Bombardiers, 4 boats, 3 boats of Scorchers. So far, doing quite well, though, minus this other shock launcher in behind the core that I did not pay any attention to. And now we're going to bring... Look at this, bringing back the pink zombie Scorcher. Now that Scorcher is going to have Life Leech as well. It's not just reserved for the regular Scorchers. Any Scorchers you have are going to have Life Leech, which is just going to make your troops that much stronger. So Kavan, possibly a good idea. Also, those rifles with the tribes are going to have the extra speed. So all sorts of benefits involved in using Kavan, this Mega Crab. I really dislike Kavan, and I am pumping his tires right now. So if I'm going to say good things about Kavan, lots of people are going to say good things about Kavan, because I generally really dislike Kavan. I feel like he needs to be buffed. But right about now, look at this. We've got all sorts of Scorchers still clearing away, and our Bombardiers are in behind, and they should be able to outlast as long as they can. Now watch this. Here's another thing you can do. Drop your explosive drones right in front, and they're going to stay back where those shock launchers are going to target them. Down goes stage 50. So we managed to solo stage 10, stage 20, stage 30, and stage 50. So there is going to be a lot of levels involved. If you're planning on using Scorchers, do let me know. Even if you just mix one in, so you have like Bullit on the left, Scorcher on the right, and then a bunch of tanks. Let's go something like perhaps if you wanted to go something like this, some sort of troop loadout. Oh man, I'm running out of diamonds almost, down to 999,000. Just a reminder, this is the dev build. You can't download it. It's not a hacked APK. It's not a hacked game. It's not a private server. This is just the Boom Beach dev server where the developers develop and we create sneak peeks for you guys. Let's get back to the archipelago. Let's have a look at stage 60. Stage 60, what have you got for us? Now, this would be the stage required to get up all the way into the diamond trophy. Stage 70 is where you're going to get your legendary trophy. We're just going to do stage 60 and call it a day. Now, this is what I was talking about as far as, I said I was going to use Bullit. Let's switch up Kavon. We're going to bring Bullit back into action because that was my whole plan all along. I said Bullit, then I brought Kavon. Thankfully, I caught it. Bullit is down here. We're going to use energy drink, and we're going to see. Now, just a reminder, this life leech is only for Scorchers. Bullit is not going to take advantage of that life leech, which is a little bit too bad, but this is not the vampire mega crab. So what we're going to do right now is exactly what I talked about previously. We're going to drop those explosive drones right in there. They're going to blow up some of those, what are those things called? Cryo bombs. Now, one more thing of note, lasers lock on until death. Lasers will lock on to whatever troop you point them at until that troop is dead. So we're going to go like this. We're going to put Bullit over on the left-hand side. We're going to put our Scorcher over on the right. And then we can just drop all of our bombardiers in here. Did not see that laser over there. And now we've got 2 points of contact where all of our troops are going to be spreading out. Bullit is taking the left-hand side. The Scorcher is taking the right-hand side. Our bombardiers are just so wimpy. You probably want to mix in some sort of medic. Uh-oh, look at that. Instantly dead Scorcher, not off to a great start. So obviously stage 60 looking a little bit more beefy. Bullit himself is almost dead. Having more Scorchers seems like it helped spread out the load, so all the buildings weren't targeting that one Scorcher, but this is a whole different ball of wax. So stage 60, far more difficult than stage 50, as we saw. Like these, what are these called? Octagonal bases are far more difficult than that. Stage 50 is my favorite layout of base, because basically you can solo them 99% of the time as long as you have enough damage. One other thing to note, I have been using on this sneak peek, I have been using 5 troop damage statues, 2 troop health statues, and 3 gunboat energy statues. I highly recommend. I think it's a 2 troop health kind of mega crab, but more importantly, damage. 5 troop damage, even 6, even 7 is going to be vital if you want to use Scorchers and have them do life leech, because obviously, or maybe not quite so obviously, the more damage they do, the more health they leech back. So can be incredibly useful. Now, I don't think Scorchers are going to be terribly viable going forwards, but I am curious to hear what you guys plan to do with them. Let me know what troop combo you plan to use. Maybe go back and check the archives, because this is now the 3rd time we've had the Scorched Mega Crab. So obviously the boosts weren't necessarily exactly the same last time, but it's worth having a look just to see what sort of level people got to, what sort of troops they used, and that should set you up pretty darn nicely. I will throw my Scorched Mega Crab videos into the cards above. Otherwise, that is my sneak peek. Hopefully this gave you all the info you needed. One more time, here are the boosts and the bonuses. Every single level has those explosive drones. There's no changes at all in the temporary gunboat ability, but every 10 levels you get a little bit more of the life leech for your Scorchers up to level 60, and then it just stays the same, obviously. Anyways, one more shout out to Mr. Chester. As always, I'm Zedmont. Hopefully you guys enjoy this Mega Crab. Let me know what troops you're going to use, what you're looking for as far as a goal goes, and I shall talk to you later on. Thanks for coming in. I'm Zedmont. Peace.